Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Courtside podcast. Happy Sunday. I know you're wondering why it's just me this week. The guys are busy. I don't know where they are or have any information what they're doing. But in today's episode, we are going to be recapping week 24 of the NBA season, talking about Joel Embiid's injury and how it shakes up the Eastern Conference, as well as talk about other breaking news. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn that post notification bell, like this video, and comment down below if you think the Sixers are now a sleeping giant in the Eastern Conference. So without further ado, let's hop into today's episode. So starting off the primetime games this week, we got the Pelicans at the Suns game two. Um, these two teams haven't played each other in January, which is mind blowing considering that the season's almost coming to an end. But my biggest takeaway from this game, because I watched this whole game, was that this shows that Phoenix, they can play with anybody. A lot of people have been discrediting Phoenix this year. I totally understand the season has been not good for them record wise and team wise, but like when they play well, they play well. So that's my biggest takeaway. Devin Booker had a masterful performance with 52 points, and Zion Williamson had 30 points. On the Pelicans side of things, this team is still good. I still think this team is a legitimate dark horse in the East, just in the not the East, the West, excuse me, just because like this team can match up like physically with any team in the Western Conference. Like you look at Denver, like they have a lot of guys that they can throw a Jokic, and then the Timberwolves, you know how well they match up with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. And then OKC, yeah, I know OKC won the last matchup between these two ball clubs, but when you look at it, like the Pelicans have the personnel to shut down a team like the Thunder, and then the Mavs and the Clippers, like they match up well with each other. All right, so the next game on the prime time list, we had hold on, my ESPN screen is loading right now. It's kind of laggy. I apologize for that. We have the Thunder. Let's go down. The Thunder and the Sixers game two was this game was a very close game throughout. But in the end, the Sixers won this game. My biggest takeaway was that this is why, and I know people are gonna hate me saying this, but it's the facts right here. This is why the Thunder are not that a contender. Like if you look at my contenders list, I have Denver, I have Boston, and I think I have, if they're healthy, Phoenix, Miami, because they turn it up in the playoffs, and then obviously you got teams like OKC that, yeah, they can be, but the problem is they don't have the personnel to go up against a team like the Lakers, like the Wolves, like the Nuggets that have like a big that can shut down their big. Looking at the top performers for both sides, the Thunder, Chet Holmgren looks great, 22.7 rebounds. And then for Joel Embiid, honestly, I didn't know he was going to play in this game. For those that want I didn't know he was going to play. I got news that he was going to be a We'll see, according to Woj, Shams, and what's his face, Chris Haynes. Um, but he looked great in his first game back. Stay tuned. I'm going to be reacting to his highlights in his first game back. I know he played last week and he didn't play tonight, but like the audio of that reaction kind of got messed up. So hope it works this time. And then on the other side of things, we got the Mavs and the Warriors. My biggest thing is that I am now the firm believer that the Mavs are like the Suns and maybe the Lakers too in this aspect, that it all depends on who they match up well with. Because obviously, there's a lot of teams that they match up well with. Like obviously, you got Minnesota that matches up with Denver's size. You got the Pelicans who can match the Clippers offense. Clippers, like the Pelicans can match up with the Clippers. But peeking at the Mavs and the Warriors, my biggest takeaway from this game, Luka seems to be going hard at the MVP campaign, and deservedly so. He's been playing absolutely flawless. And then for the Warriors side of things, look, I've been saying this for quite some time right now. I do think right now, if the Warriors make the playoffs, they are gonna push a certain team to the brink. And if they're lucky, if they get the right matchup, they might upset someone in the first round. Moving on to the next set of games on Wednesday. This was a fun week. This was a lot of tough games, a lot of great games this week. So peeking at the first game of the list, we had the Thunder and the Celtics. Like I said just a couple minutes ago about the Thunder, they need size because if they match up with like a team like the Lakers or the Timberwolves, as great as they are a first round exit. And I know it sounds painful. It sounds like I'm hating. I'm not. This team has been playing really well, but like this is what happens when you match up size against a team with no size. It haunts back to you. Picking at the Thunder side of things, obviously the Josh Giddey was the leading scorer, 17 points and 6 rebounds. But on the flip side, the Celtics, they Kristaps Porzingis. I think right now Kristaps Porzingis is probably one of the most underappreciated superstars in this league because this guy is good. Like I understand he's not healthy for the majority of the season, but when he's healthy, this guy is really good is really good at basketball. Obviously, you see him with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Like that's crazy. And then finally, we had the Cavs and the Suns. This game, I watched this game, and I'm not gonna lie, this game in the beginning part was like really close because of how good the Cavs are. I think they're like one of the best road teams in the league right now. But in the end, Devin Booker, 40 points. Katie, I think, had like 35 points. I want to say this to everyone out there. Do not sleep on this Phoenix team. I know they lost tonight against New Orleans, but like when this team is healthy, they're playing right. And the big three have been playing. A lot of people were ripping on the big three for the early parts of the season. When they're playing well, this team will be the most annoying team to play against in the playoffs. All right, moving on to the next set of games, we have the Kings and the Knicks. Game two between these two ball clubs. This game was very interesting. Not game two, I think game one. My bigged takeaway from this game was the Knicks. I think right now the Knicks are a team that everyone, including I think the media, touched base on this a little bit, but like this team is very good. Yes, that injury bug bit them really badly, and it's unfortunate because we don't know how good this team is. But like you look at this team right here, this team can fight. This Knicks team fights hard. Now, my only concern is can they be healthy come playoff time? That has to be determined. But right now, I have to say this about this Knicks team: they're going to push you to the brink, and that's basically what they've been doing. And I think this team is going to be very good in the postseason. Speaking of the Kings side of things, like the Kings to me have been a very weird team. Like towards the after the All Star break, like they will have a great win, and you're like, okay, that's impressive, but then they lose to a team like they should have won. Like what? It doesn't make sense at all. And then moving on, we got the Nuggets and the Clippers. Not gonna lie, I thought the Nuggets won this game because I got constant score notifications on my phone indicating that the Nuggets were up like 20-5. But hey, it just shows you like how the Clippers fought hard in this game. And I still think the Clippers are a great team, but this team, I think, since March have been super weird. Like they're like the Kings in this aspect where they will play really well one game and then the next game they play like dog shit. And I'm sorry for saying that, Clippers fans, but wouldn't you agree that your team has been very inconsistent in the month of March? Uh, as you can see here, Nikola Jokic, 36 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists. And then Paul George, man, 28 points and 3 steals. That is crazy. The next set of primetime games, we had the Kings and the Celtics. This game actually came down to the wire. I actually got a score notification on my phone saying that this was a very close game. Obviously, you look at the Kings side of things. De'Aaron Fox had 40 points, and like on the Celtics side, I think Kristaps Porzingis had 20 points, 11 rebounds. Nothing too fancy. But I will say this about the Celtics, and this is not a knock. This is like my biggest concern with the Celtics. Yeah, they what if they match up against a team like Miami that has their number for quite some time? But my biggest concern with Boston, and I don't know if the media touched base on this or not, but from my from my point of view, Boston has a habit of playing way too soft with their opponents. Like for example, when they played Atlanta, I think twice. I think it was last week or the week before, where they were like cruising by Atlanta. They were beating Atlanta. It felt like it was going to be another blow up, but Atlanta found a way to creep back in it and eventually won the game. Boston, you cannot do that in the playoffs. All right. I've been really high on you guys. I think you guys are the favorites to win, but you got to play like you're the favorites. Or if not, you might run into a team like Miami that, hey, that has your number. And then next up, we got the Timberwolves and the Suns. Another game that I watched of the Suns. I've been watching a lot of Phoenix this year. This was by far their best, like in terms of like defensive game. This was their best defensive game of the year. Like holding Anthony Edwards to 17 points is ridiculous. Now I know the score looks misleading, but this game was actually like a blowout. I know like the Timberwolves hung around a bit, but like it was not even close. Like this game was coming down to the wire. But I'm gonna say it again. Phoenix, Phoenix is very scary come playoff time. I guarantee you. All right, moving on to the next set of primetime games. We have hold on, this my screen is going right now. We had the oh wait, there wasn't any game. Yeah, there wasn't any games. This um hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. Rockets and the Mavs. I honestly do not have any words just because like I'm not surprised that the Mavs won, but like I know Luca and Kyrie have been exceptional this year, and they have been, but you cannot go down 15 in the first quarter against the Rockets when they're like, all right, I know the Rockets have been iffy on the road, but like if you like if you match up well against a team like the Rockets, you should be able to win. You cannot lay an egg here. Obviously, Luca and Kyrie were amazing tonight, but at the same time, like you when you're playing against a frisky team like this, you cannot let this happen. Then moving on, oh Lord, I know what's coming. The Knicks and the Bucks. I don't know if you guys know this, but I wasn't one of those believers about Dame going to Milwaukee. I wasn't. And I've been saying it like pretty much all year. I kept it secret because, I didn't want to get like ratted out, like be called like a hater. But this is why I said it wasn't going to work. This was not going to work. Like, granted, it was kind of a back and forth game in the beginning, but like I understand like Giannis played well, but you cannot, especially with a team like the Knicks who literally are like basically like injured, like have pretty much are like the Grizzlies, but are in the playoffs in this aspect. Like have everyone hurt. Like I think Julius Randle's out for the year. Like you should be able to beat this team. I don't know what happened. Bucks fans, explain to me what happened because you gotta get stuff together, or else you're gonna get bounced in the first round. And then moving on, we got the Timberwolves and the Lakers. This game was pretty close throughout. Anthony Davis went out, but hey, I got to give credit to what credit's due. Shout out Nas Reed, man. This guy has been playing super well. This guy is probably the most underappreciated players in this league right now. All right, especially without Karl Anthony Towns. Because if it weren't for him, the Timberwolves would have been screwed. All right, peeking on the Lakers side of things, Rui had 30 points in his game. Honestly, I'm not surprised that Rui played. Rui has been, okay. But like I said with the Lakers, like they have to play well. They have to get. They're like, in my opinion, like the Mavs and the Suns in this aspect, where they have to have the right matchup. If they want to win the series, and like that's all I can say about it. And that is me recapping Week 24 of the NBA season. What was your biggest takeaway from this past week? Let me know in the comments. Without further ado, let's get to the next part of today's video. All right. So in the next part of things, we are going to be talking about Joel Embiid's return. We are going to be reacting to his highlights. I know what you're thinking. Like, why are you like? How are you going to be able to uh, watch his highlights? Your boy found a way. I found a way to do it. Shout out, what's his name? ZH Highlights, Ripple US Highlights. Excuse me. We're putting this up. Um, yeah, let's react to Joel Embiid's highlights. Let's take a look. Okay, Joel's bringing up the court. All right. All right. Oh my. Double team. Okay, Joel. Okay. All right. Pick two-man game with Kyle Lowry. You love to see that. Okay. Okay, Joel. I see you. Oh, nice pass, Toby. Oh, good shot, Toby. Good shot. Good shot. Oh, okay, Joel. Nice shot, Joel. Oh, what a step back. Oh, wow. That's a good 0-2. All right. Toby's been big for them. Oh, what a swing pass. Y'all seen that swing pass? Oh, that was a nice pass, Joel. That was a nice pass, Joel. Double team. Oh, man. That was a tough pass, Joel. All right. Good screen. Joel. Wow, man. So what did you think of Joel Embiid's performance in his first game back? Granted, it was a couple days ago. Let me know in the comments section below what your biggest takeaway was. All right, so now we're going to talk about how this shakes up the Eastern Conference, especially with Joel Embiid back. My personal opinion, this kind of puts a little scare in a lot of teams. I think right now, if I'm Philly, I want to avoid Boston at all costs. I know Boston has been the best team all year, and they've been okay, but you want to avoid Boston. But honestly, I think if Embiid is healthy, this team is going to make some noise in the Eastern Conference, as long as they avoid Boston. All right, because I think right now, if you exclude Boston in the East, Boston is the team to beat in the Eastern Conference right now. Whereas the rest of the Eastern Conference, like you don't know what is going on. Like obviously, Milwaukee, we know is a mess. New York, like yeah, New York's been great. Like they've been playing well, but they're hampered by injuries. Cleveland also up in the air as well. Orlando, yeah, they've been a great story, but they're just like they haven't been in the playoffs since 2020. And if you want to like raise the stakes a little bit, I like to say they haven't won a playoff series since I was like in elementary school. So like not, and this is not a knock on Orlando. Orlando fans do not get triggered, but like maybe in the next couple years you guys could get there if you make the playoffs. Like I think you could do it. But it ultimately, if I am Philly, I am in really good shape, and I pray that you don't play Boston in the first round. So that's my little take on Embiid's first game back and how it shakes up the Eastern Conference. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. So now another news going around in the NBA we're going to be talking about is the possible return of Karl Anthony Towns. According to Shams, who's an NBA insider like Woj and Chris Haynes, Shams says that Karl Anthony Towns might come back sometime before the NBA season. I think my thing is that it's a huge lift for Minnesota because the one thing that Minnesota has that a lot of teams, if you exclude Denver, doesn't have is size. And Minnesota has like guys that they can throw at Jokic with a Gobert or a Karl Anthony Towns. And also they can match up well with a team that does not have size, like an OKC, Golden State, I think Dallas, but I'm not entirely sold on Dallas yet. But yeah, that alone, that is big for Minnesota because if Carl comes back and he's just like his old self, Minnesota could make some noise. All right. Next up, we're going to be discussing every team's biggest flaw that is competing in the playoffs and playing for the 2023-24 season. Now, there's going to be a lot of controversy, so bear with me. These are my own opinions, so if you don't like them, let me know in the comment section below. So let me share my screen. Hold on. I have to share my screen right now. I just exited. All right. Let me load it up. Here we go. All right. So here is every team's biggest flaw that is competing in the playoffs and play-in. So if you wonder why there's the top tier, it's basically the teams that are eliminated from the playoffs and play-in. So here's every team's biggest flaw. Starting off with the Bulls. The Bulls. All right, the Bulls. The Bulls' biggest flaw. I think the Bulls' biggest flaw right now is that they're just here just to have like for a fun story. You know, they're not obviously there's no Zach LaVine, but I think DeMar DeRozan's still playing. I haven't tipped him that, but like this team is going to be very frisky, and I think they might, make some noise in the East. Not necessarily like win a series. Obviously, I don't think that, but I think they could win a game against some of these teams, like top teams. Moving on, we got the Warriors. Their size is their biggest flaw. They don't. If you exclude Kevon Looney on this team, they don't have a guy over 6'10", 6'8". Like, yeah, they have Draymond, who they have Andrew Wiggins, but when you're going against a team like Denver, you need to have all hands on deck. Next up, we got the Knicks. Injuries. This team has had the worst injury luck I've ever seen in an NBA team throughout my stint watching the NBA. Like I think they've had like a lot of players hurt. Granted, OG Anunoby did come back tonight, but still, like they've had a lot of injury this season. Moving on, we got the Cavs. Man, I don't know what to say for the Cavs. I guess they're inexperienced, maybe. Like I know Donovan Mitchell has made the playoffs before. They made the playoffs last year, but like I don't know. Like this team is like very weird. Moving on, we got the Kings. The Kings' biggest flaw, I'd say their defense. Their defense is not that good per se. I think they're still a solid team, with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I literally just forgot about this. Injuries as well. I don't know if anyone remembers this. Malik Monk is out. Kevin Herter is out. Those are two key pieces for this Kings team. Moving on, we got the Pelicans. Man, this team is hard to figure out. I'm gonna say for the Pelicans, um, I guess I honestly don't know the biggest flaw. Uh, Probably playing too cute as well. This team is very good. I think this if I can't say Phoenix is the most dangerous team, I always go with New Orleans just because they have guys that can give you 15 a night. CJ, Brandon Ingram, Zion, what's his face, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels. Like they have a lot of guys that can drop 15 on you. Moving on, we got the Clippers. So before I get to the Clippers, I just want to say for the Pelicans' biggest flaw is probably um playing too soft, but that might change. Next up, we got the Clippers. The Clippers' biggest flaw, health, really. Like I think it's health. Kawhi's been like injured, I think, for the past couple games. Um, and yeah, but like this team's gonna be very interesting come playoff time. I think this team's gonna be one of the most interesting teams. And moving on, oh god, we got the Bucks. I think the biggest problem with the Bucks. Where do I even begin with this team? They don't have a shutdown defender on their team. Granted, they Dame has not looked great. I have to admit, if for those that don't know, I've been the biggest Dame fan since he was a rookie. Um, yeah, this team is not that good. Moving on, we got the Pacers. I say for the Pacers, they're a little bit like the Cavs in this aspect. They're like new. Like they haven't been to the playoff. They haven't won a playoff series, I think, since what 2015, 14. I can't remember when they last won a playoff series, but like this team, man, like this team is very interesting. Next up, we got the Miami Heat. I'm gonna say their offense is their biggest flaw. I know Tyler Hero came back against Houston, but like like they gotta play well, and obviously I think this team is still dangerous in the playoffs. But that's all I gotta say for Miami. Next up, we got the Timberwolves. Uh, their youth, maybe. I know Rudy and Carl are getting older, and Mike Conley's like really old, but like I don't know. This team is hard to predict. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say about the T Wolves. Moving on, we got the Lakers. Lakers. Their injuries. That is their biggest flaw. And I know Braun and AD, they've been playing really well these past couple months. Braun is one ankle injury away from missing a chunk of time. And that's not knocking LeBron. I think he's a great player. He's a metahuman. But they're like one injury away from like him being done. Moving on, we got the Nuggets. I have to say, I don't know if there's a flaw in this team, but if I had to say one, and this is not to throw shade at Jokic, I think he's been the best player all year. I say being heavily reliant on him. I know he's a great passer, he's a great rebounder, he's a great scorer, but I think there's going to be times where teams are going to figure out a way to shut down Jokic, and other guys are going to have to step up. And I think the absence of Jamal Murray is big. And I think I don't know if Jamal played tonight. I'm not entirely sure. Moving on, we got the Thunder. This one's easy. They're youth. They haven't won a playoff series since 2016. This team is like this team's age average is like 22, 23. So if they get a team that's been to the playoffs like for more than a couple years, like they might get bounced. Moving on, we got Dallas. Dallas. I think it's still their defense. Like I know their defense has been really good as of late, but like I still think their defense is still not that good. Obviously Luke and Kyrie are amazing, but like defensively, they're gonna have to get they're gonna have to play better. That's all I gotta say. Moving on. Good golly, we got Phoenix. I'm gonna say for Phoenix, and this is kind of a reoccurring habit, is they play way too cute at times. And like, if you're wondering what I mean by played way too cute, like they beat a good team, but then they wet the bed in the next game. Um, I still think this trio with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant can still coexist. But they got to get other guys involved. Obviously, Grayson Allen's having a hell of a year. Nurk, you guys know I love Nurkic. But I think if they want to make some noise in the playoffs, their big three has to play really well. Moving on, we got the Celtics. Like I said with Phoenix, this team plays way too cute. Like they have a habit of like beating somebody really good, and then the next game, granted they haven't had like like a long losing streak unlike other teams. They have a habit of losing to teams that you think they should win. Like this, like people forget if you talk about the Eastern Conference, not like in the NBA, the only team that's beaten Boston twice in the Eastern Conference is the Atlanta Hawks, and that's without Trae Young. That's pretty terrifying if you ask me. Moving on, we got the Sixers. Joel's health. That is their biggest flaw. I think their lack of another scorer on their team. Like obviously Tyrese Maxey having a phenomenal year. He dropped 52, which is ridiculous. Embiid, we know what Embiid can do when healthy, but they don't have like a good third scorer on their team because I feel like teams are gonna figure out a way to shut down Tyrese and neutralize Joel. And I think a guy like Buddy Hield, hey, he needs to step up. Moving on, we got the Magic. Same thing with pretty much the Pacers, the Thunder, the Cavs, and maybe the Kings. This team is too young. All right. I think this team is a very fun team. I'm a huge Paulo Banchero fan. I love Banchero. I love Jalen Suggs. But like this team is way too young. Maybe in the next couple years, like this team could get better, but like at the same time, like they're too inexperienced. And then finally, we got the Atlanta Hawks. Their biggest flaw is probably can Trae Young and DeJounte Murray coexist? That's their biggest flaw. Like I would say their defense is their biggest flaw, considering that I thought their defense was going to get a lot better with the higher Quinn Snyder, but it's gotten worse. So I would say their defense. And that is me giving every team that's competing in the playoffs that has a playoff spot, excuse me, or playing spots, biggest flaw. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments section below. And then finally, to wrap things up, we are going to be doing the courtside hierarchy for week number 25 of the NBA season. Keep in mind, like the last tier list we did, these are my own opinions. So if you have a trouble with them, let me know in the comment section below. But starting off with number 10, I'm going to still say Golden State. Golden State's been playing really well as of late. Clay looks great. Jonathan Kuminga looked solid. Draymond anchoring that defense, and we know what Steph can do. Steph's a metahuman. Number 9, I'm going to go, despite the fact that they won tonight, I am going to go with the Pelicans. Like this team, a lot of people are like not sold on the Pelicans unlike I am. This team is very, like, if they're healthy, they're very dangerous. They're going to be a handful in the players with with the defense around them. I love Zion. I love Brandon Ingram. I love Herb Jones. And you guys know I'm a CJ boy for life. I love CJ McCollum. Number 8, yeah, give me the Phoenix Suns. This team, I understand they lost tonight against New Orleans, and that was kind of unacceptable. But if you look at these last couple games, they've been playing pretty solid basketball. The big three know how to work together. Bradley Beal looks great. You guys know I'm a huge Bradley Beal guy. I think this team, probably other than New Orleans, is going to be the most scary team in the Western Conference come playoff time. Oak at number 7. Cole would be happy with the selection, and I wouldn't. I'm going to take the Lakers. The Lakers have been playing really well. I know they lost tonight, but this team has been playing really well lately. LeBron playing really well. AD's been playing really well. But they got to play better. That's all I got to say. Number 6, I'm going to take the Bucks at number 6. This team has been very disappointing. Actually, no, I'm going to switch the Lakers with the Suns. Excuse me. Anyway, the Bucks. This team has been very disappointing to me, and honestly, and I know I might sound like a hater when I say this, I'm not surprised. You know, um, but yeah, this team is like probably I don't know what to say about this team. This team has been very bad. I don't know why they hired Doc Rivers, and I love Doc. For those that wondering, I love Doc Rivers, but I don't know, man. This team is very inconsistent. At 5, I'm gonna give it to. Ooh, I'm gonna give it to the OKC Thunder, man. This team, yeah, I know they have been on a losing streak as of late, but like at least unlike the Bucks, and this is not a knock on Bucks fans when I say this, they fight hard. Like you saw that clip when they played who was it, the Sixers? It's that their size was their biggest problem. So I'm gonna take the Thunder at 5. At number 4, you know what? This might sound crazy to y'all. Give me the Knicks. This team, first of all, I gotta give hats to Tom Thibodeau. This team had the worst injury log out of any playoff team this season, and they somehow have been fighting hard every single night. That is impressive. Moving on, number 3. Give me the Timberwolves at number 3. Yeah, I know they lost to Phoenix a couple nights ago, but like they won tonight against the Lakers. They've been playing really well ever since Karl Anthony Towns went. I think they're like what 12-5, 13-5 without him. Nas Reed's been great. Anthony Edwards has been great. This team is gonna be very scary. At number 2, I'm gonna go the Denver Nuggets. I'm gonna go the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic has been playing really well. I think the absence of Jamal Murray. I don't know if Jamal is out or if he's played tonight. I'm not entirely sure, but like they've been on a tear. They've been the best team all year. Yeah, that's much I can say. And at number 1, give me the Boston Celtics. Bet has been the best team. I do think they play a little bit cute at times. But this team has been really good. Kristaps Porzingis has been great. Drew Holiday has been that great vet and that shutdown defender. And this team looks great. And that is my week 24 courtside hierarchy rankings. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Because if you did, please get a like, subscribe, turn that post notification bell. We're going to try to get a video out sometime next week. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay warm, stay safe, stay active. God bless. And until next time, we out. Peace.